intend for us today. We commit each and every speaker and everybody coordinating any activity this morning into your hands. We pray for your mercy and your grace. In Jesus' mighty name, amen.
Okay. So we want to take a performance from the Kekeli Cultural Troupe. Let's welcome them with a round of applause.
So when you are done, I will have to introduce the chairperson. Yeah, the lady is not here, so I will just take the program. No, Gabriel said we should do it.
Okay, thank you very much, Kekeli Cultural Troupe. So you're welcome once again to the second edition of the Alumni Lecture Series. And then this is the Cedi Auditorium at the University of Health and Allied Sciences main campus. At this juncture, we want to take the welcome address. And then to do that for us is our very own Vice Chancellor, Professor Lydia Aziato. Please welcome her with a round of applause.
Thank you very much. A very good morning to all of us. Oh, good morning. Good. Thank you. Our distinguished chairperson, who will be introduced very soon, Madam Registrar, our special guest speaker or the keynote addressee, whatever it is, I'm sure he will also be introduced, which is a proud alumnus of this university, deans, directors, our distinguished students, and alumni all over the world online. We say welcome to the second Alumni Lecture Series of the University of Health and Life Sciences. Today's theme, I'm sure the speaker would do justice to it and will be allowed to also ask questions or contribute to this discussion. Revolution or revolutionizing, sports medicine in Ghana, multi-faceted approach. For SSS students who is coming to this university, today is the first time you are here. Just give me a wave. You have not been here before. Today is the first time. All right. Okay. So Uhas is one of the 16 tertiary institutions of the state. And all our programs are within the health space. So if you want to be a doctor, a nurse, a pharmacist, a physiotherapist, etc., this is the to-go university in Ghana. It's the #1 health training university in Ghana. That's all we do, and that's the language we understand. So if you want to do a health program, apply to Uhas. It doesn't mean that you get admission. We get over 15,000 applicants. We are able to take a little under 3,000. So there's a huge number that we don't admit. It means that you have to do well. So if you want to do medicine, you should get a grade 6, pharmacy a grade 6. If you go up, you won't get. Because even the 6, we get about 600 applicants, and we're able to take a few. So you have to do very well. And then when you come to write the entrance exam, you have to do well. If you come to the interview, you have to do well so that you can get a seat. Okay? And then, apart from the other ones, we also have the public health programs in Lokoe. And we also have the School of Sports and Exercise Medicine. So today's topic is very, very relevant to the School of Sports and Exercise Medicine. We are not training people to go and be footballers, no, or to go and do any sports. We are also not training physical education teachers, no. We are training people who can take care of people within the sports space. So the space includes prevention, diagnosis and treatment of injuries and other illnesses related to physical activity. So we are training you when something happens on the field, what can you do as a sports and exercise medicine doctor? Or, so it's not a doctor, but that person with that competency. When there's an emergency, what do you do? When there's a fracture, what do you do? When there's a muscle or something injury, a joint injury, what do you do? How do you help people not to become ill if exercise or physical activity can control it? So we all know that illnesses are not treated with only medicine. You can do alternative approaches. So in that space, we call it complementary and alternative medicine. So it is not drug related. So people within this program can help people to manage their diseases using physical activity or wellness activities. This person we are training is also able to prescribe. When you diagnose, you prescribe. The treatment of what you have to do is not only medicine. So if I go on the treadmill after a sports and exercise medicine scientist has assessed me, the person can say, go at 4 minutes or 4 seconds, I don't know, those figures that come on the treadmill of 4.5 or 5 for 30 minutes or 15 minutes, so you don't go beyond what you are supposed to do and collapse. So for the SSS people, the Uhas program is not physical education, no. We are training people who can care for people using these approaches and within the space of sports. You can also manage somebody's gym and others. You have courses within the program that make you administrators. Apart from the care area, there are other courses in the program that also make you researchers within the space, etc. And I'm sure that the alumnus going to speak today will give you some more information on what he has done within the space. That said, it shouldn't be a second or a third choice. It should be a first choice for you to say, I want to work within this space. I want to take care of people to prevent diseases using physical or wellness approaches. I want to take care of people who are sportsmen and women. There's nothing, it is not a lower program, no, it is not a lower program. And so, because people did not have that understanding from the beginning, they are very reluctant to apply for the program. But I want to assure you that the Sports and Exercise Medicine program, it is a special program run by Uhas. It is the only university running this program, the Sports and Exercise Medicine program. Ours is different. So that said, I want to add my voice to, I think the MC said welcome, so I want to say welcome to Uhas. and we are here to help you grow if you decide to come here for your tertiary education. Now, before I take my seat, I want to say a big thank you to our young alumni. We started graduating students in 2016. So our alumni are very young men and women. I want to encourage them to continue doing their best, to continue supporting their schools, the university as a whole, and bringing their network on board for us to grow the university together. Once I have the podium, because the program, there's a chairperson, so I will not come here again. So Mama, please permit me. I want to pass it through the alumni to reach out to their colleagues in the diaspora. We need hostel for our students, so if the alumni can take up a hostel project, it will be very good. Also, our bus system is inadequate, so if the alumni can own a bus and use it to convey the students from their hostels to the campus, is also a good venture. They can also decide to have a printing press or a cafeteria owned and managed by the alumni. So, Mr. Gabriel and your team, see what you can do to support us. But overall, I want to say that the alumni, our alumni are doing very well, and we are proud of all of you. And I pray that you continue to do your annual alumni lecture as the years go and come. Thank you very much, and welcome again.
Thank you very much, Prof. So at this point, we want to introduce our chairperson for today's program. And to do that for us is Ms. Mary Udoha to help us with that.
All protocol duly extended. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my profound honor to introduce the chairperson of the second Uhas Alumni Lecture. Our chairperson is an esteemed judge, a queen mother, and a published scholar. She serves as the queen mother of the whole Bankwe Bake clan in Asogli State, where her visionary leadership has strengthened cultural heritage, promoted peace, and fostered sustained community growth. In the judiciary, she has held prestigious leadership role, including being the national treasurer of the Association of Magistrates and Judges of Ghana, where her integrity, her diligence, and commitment to justice have been widely recognized. Aside being a co-founder of the DA Humanitarian Foundation, leading impactful programs in women empowerment, youth skill training, and medical outreach, she has represented Ghana in major international platforms, including the 69th United Nations Commission on the Status of Women, and also as a resource person for UNFPA on ending child marriage. She also sits on the board of the Volta Region Lands Commission and Ho Nursing Training College. Currently, she is pursuing a Master of Law at Temple University in Philadelphia in the United States. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pride and admiration that I invite you to join me in warmly welcoming our chairperson, in the person of Mama Bobi III, the Queen Mother of Bake, Ho Bankwe in Asogli State.
Thank you. Distinguished Vice Chancellor, my mother, and a great support system in carrying out my traditional duties. Registrar, our special guest speaker, esteemed faculty, honored alumni, cherished students, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, I greet you all in peace and goodwill. As someone who's committed to justice, education, and community service, I'm deeply honored to chair this year's Uhas Alumni Lecture. I thank the Alumni Association for extending this respect to me and to the traditional and civic leadership I represent. Today's theme, Revolutionizing Sports Medicine in Ghana, a multifaceted approach, calls us to expand not only our knowledge, but also our imagination about what is possible for Ghana's health and sports sectors. Our elders remind us that wisdom is gathered from many parts. This gathering is one of such convergence of parts: science and tradition, clinical practice and community insights, scholarship and service. My expectations for today are that we deepen our understanding of the science, policy, and practice of sports medicine, particularly as Ghana seeks to protect and empower the athletes who carry out our national pride. That our distinguished speaker, Mr. Cedi Auditorium, inspires fresh thinking, new research, directions, and practical innovations for the health sector. That the students, our emerging professionals, find motivation to pursue excellence in this field with courage, discipline, and curiosity. And that this gathering strengthens unity among faculty, alumni, and students, for knowledge thrives best in an environment of harmony. May today's deliberations enrich our minds, affirm our shared purpose, and guide us towards a healthier and more resilient Ghana. With these reflections, I declare this lecture formally open. Thank you all.
I'm not sure you are clapping for Mama. Aren't you inspired by her profile? Are you not? To the young ladies here, please, if not for anything, she is a magistrate. If you are from Banku and you misbehave, they will take you to her court. And let me tell you, you'll be in a big, big trouble. Thank you, Mama, for accepting to be our chair for the second Uhas Alumni Lecture. Oh, she's a judge. She has passed that stage, so you are in bigger trouble. The bigger the stage, the bigger the trouble, right? So don't worry, you are safe. So I thank you so much for accepting to be our chairperson for the day. We really appreciate your presence. So we will not waste much time. We have the mastermind of today's event. We would like to welcome him, His Excellency Gabriel Agbanyo, who is our Uhas Alumni President. Let's give it up to him. Let's give it up to him.
Thank you very much. The chairperson, Mama Bobby III, Queen of Bakeho, Bankwe, Asogli State, the representative of the Volta Regional Minister, Honorable James Gunu, representative of the special guest of honor, His Excellency Tanko Kwamiga Atokle, member of the Council of States, the Vice Chancellor, Professor Lydia Aziato, the Registrar, Madam Ya Amankwa Opuni, the representative of the Regional Commander of Police, representative of the National Ghana Fire Service present, the Dean of the School of Sports Medicine and Exercise, Professor Lokoe, the keynote speaker, my colleague, a proud pioneer of this university, Dr. Eric Tete Aite, faculty members, executives of the Uhas Alumni Association, students, ladies and gentlemen. Today, indeed, is a great day for the Uhas Alumni Association as we gather for the second Uhas Alumni Lecture. Last year, we held our maiden alumni lecture, which was well attended by distinguished guests and students from various tertiary institutions, as well as senior high schools in Ho. The success of that event laid a strong foundation for what we are about to witness today. Mama Chair, today marks a new milestone. For the first time in the history of this university, an alumnus of this university will deliver the alumni lecture. Last year was delivered by a patron of the Uhas alumni in the person of Dr. Elikplem Apetogo. Our keynote speaker, Dr. Eric Tete, is a trailblazer whose story is interwoven with the very beginnings of this university. As the Foundation SRC president, he delivered the very first ever matriculation speech on behalf of the pioneering class when the university opened its doors in 2012 with about 154 students. Many of us fondly recall how he confidently used medical terms, some of it creatively coined, prompting guests to jokingly ask whether Uhas students were already medical graduates. 13 years later, he returns home to become the first alumni to deliver the alumni lecture. His presence today beautifully underscores the theme for this year's lecture, Revolutionizing Sports Medicine in Ghana, a multifaceted approach. It is timely, relevant, and ambitious theme that reflects the dynamic evolution of sports medicine in our country. I wish to acknowledge with deep appreciation the remarkable support of the university management, especially the Vice Chancellor, Professor Lydia Aziato, and then Madam Registrar, Madam Ya Amankwa Oponi, who consistently followed up to inquire about the next alumni lecture. Their commitment ensured that our preparations remained on course. Their guidance and dedication reaffirmed the university's strong belief in the power of alumni engagement. And on this note, I also want to extend our sincere gratitude to the planning committee, led by the chairman, Mr. Achu Kodolon Goswe, and his team. We are eternally grateful to all of you. Today, as we gather once more, we do so with a renewed hope. Our university is growing in stature, confidence, and tradition. And I am hopeful that this second edition of the alumni lecture will be another resounding success that will inspire greater alumni-driven initiatives in the years ahead. On behalf of the Uhas Alumni Association, I warmly welcome you and thank you for honoring our invitation. May today's lecture enrich our understanding, broaden our vision, and strengthen our collective resolve to contribute meaningfully to the development of our alma mater and nation at large. Thank you very much. Miawizon, Akbenamilo.
All right, thank you so much. Let's give it up to Mr. President one more time. Thank you. All right. So we won't want to waste much further time. As Mr. President has said, today, if you are here, especially as a secondary school student, you should know that Uhas has a place for you with whatever programs you want to do when it comes to healthcare in Ghana. And we are proud of who we are as alumni. All right, thank you. So I will skip some of the programs, and I apologize for that. In as much as we want to enjoy the food day, we have to keep up to time as well. So without wasting much time, if we have Miss Cindy Agbeme here, is she here? Miss Cindy is not here. All right, thank you so much. We will want to hear from our keynote speaker, and introducing him, I want to invite our alumni president back to the stage, Mr. Gabriel Agbanyu, to introduce our keynote speaker for the day for us. Let's clap for him.
Thank you very much. It's a great honor and privilege to introduce the keynote speaker for today's event. The keynote speaker, Dr. Eric Tete, a medical doctor by profession. He was part of the first batch of students who were admitted in this very university when the university opened its door in 2012 with 154 students. He was our SRC president, the foundation SRC president of this university. He's a man of overwhelming godly pursuits and enviable achievements. When he was here, he studied BSc nursing, and he graduated in 2016. From there, he proceeded to University of Ghana, where he pursued a 4-year medical program in medicine. He's a qualified medical doctor. From there, he went to UK to pursue a master's program in sports medicine, sports and exercise medicine. Our keynote speaker today, honorable members, he is a distinguished scholar, someone who has distinguished himself in many ways. I always say that he's a man of many colors. Currently, he's been appointed as the medical doctor to the Ghana Boxing Authority. The Ghana Football Association constituted a 3-member medical committee, and he's a member of that committee. He's a medical doctor to the Ghana Football Association. He is also a key committee member of FIFA, and then he has represented at national level, at the world level, and today we are privileged to have him join us today. Thank you. Help me welcome Dr. Eric Tete Aite. Doc, you are welcome.
Thank you very much, President Gabriel Agbanyu. From whence we started so humbly, and by the grace of God, here we stand and here we find ourselves. Thank you very much for the wonderful introduction. Mama Bobby III, Queen of Bake, Hobankwe, Asogli State. Professor Lydia Azato, Vice Chancellor of the University of Health and Allied Sciences. Miss Ya Amankwa Opuni, our wonderful registrar, who I mistakenly called Miss Ya. Thank you for the pardon. Mr. Gabriel Agbanyu, once again the President of the Uhas Alumni Association, the GRASAC President, my brother Felix Dola, distinguished deans, directors, heads of department, faculty, staff, students, alumni, and investors. Ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed a very extraordinary honor to stand before you today, not necessarily as your keynote speaker, but also as a son of this wonderful institution, and a proud one, of course. Today for me carries a deep symbolism for me because I stand here as the first alumnus in the history of this university to deliver the annual alumni lecture. And as someone whose journey began here as a member of this university as a pioneering student, and the first student leader of this university, for me, it's more than humbling. So it's more than humbling to be invited before amazing, distinguished guests, people whose values, whose effort has shaped who I am today, to be present before distinguished traditional leaders, faculty, academic leadership, and the very community that has brought up a very powerful reminder of how the journey started with me. A very powerful reminder of how this university came about and how far its alumni can go. Ladies and gentlemen, somewhere around September 2012, we arrived here as the first batch. Uhas was still an unfolding dream. The roads were unpaved, the buildings unfinished, but the vision was unmistakably bold. What many do not know is the very fact that from that very beginning, our foundation was laid by the best minds of the University of Health and Allied Sciences, the very best minds that any university could offer as far as health and allied sciences was concerned. Lecturers were drawn from far and near, from the University of Ghana, from institutions abroad, from distinguished research and clinical centers, whose reputation we only used to read about. Even our foundational Vice-Chancellor, Professor Fred Binker, was part of those who had to come to the classroom to teach us. And that clearly tells you the quality of education and tutelage that we had as a pioneering group. That intimacy created a sense of belonging that many universities could only dream of. Yet, at the very core of all those great things was what actually became an iconic tag that the pioneering members had, and that was called the school feeding program. For those of you who thought the school feeding program started from the SWAL government, it actually started from the university, and it was part of my batch, and that is the pioneering batch. Yet, at the core of so many great things, including the school feeding program, there was a close-knit academic community, the unmatched quality of teaching. However, there was a price that had to be paid. And for most of my colleagues, they summarized that price in 3 letters, GPA. For those of you who don't understand what I mean by GPA, the standards were quite high, uncompromising, and sometimes unforgiving. My colleagues would want to take the sometimes away, because anytime they remember Uhas, I know some who still struggle to forgive the difficulty and the challenging standards that they thought they met at that particular level. The workload was so intense that at a point we had to change the name of the University of Health and Allied Sciences to the University of Heat and Allied Stress. This was remarkably worsened by the fact that at a point, for some of us who had never been in extremely hot weathers before, we thought the hot weather that we came to meet in Ho during our era was probably the reason why the name of the town Ho should have changed to Hot and not Ho. In fact, it was always so quick for us to be receiving breakfast, lunch, supper sometimes, and yet you go to the classroom, and the next moment is you are bombarded with standards that we thought was beyond us. But little did we know, an anti-doping representative, being at the Olympic, Paralympic Youth Games, working in world-class centers in sports medicine across the globe, Emory, Aspeta, and you just name it. And today, after standing and going all through, I stand here looking at the Ghanaian sporting landscape, and I'm humbled to say that everything began from Uhas. And for that purpose, I dare say that this is not just a simple lecture, but it's homecoming to me. Today, I have the privilege of sharing insights on a theme that sits at the core of my career and at the heart of Ghana's sporting fortunes, and I must say, Ghana's future. And that is sports medicine. How we can revolutionize it in Ghana, and how it sits at the intersection of athlete health, public health, community well-being, scientific innovation, ethics, and national development. And I dare believe that with the setup of the School of Sports and Exercise Medical Sciences in Uhas, I believe Uhas is at the center of this particular new epoch. And I'm confident that after this lecture, we get to appreciate the fact that Uhas stands tall in advancing this niche and this field of medical expertise, not only in Ghana, but within the African sub-region. Ladies and gentlemen, why sports and exercise medicine? This is the kind of question I even get from my own colleague doctors, senior doctors, and even professors. And for someone who, in the midst of all the great people that I'd come into contact with, I always reveal and give glory to God that I found a father figure in the very pioneering Vice Chancellor of this university, Professor Fred Binka. And for those who know my relationship with him, the first question everybody asks me, you have a father who has laid the foundation for you. Why not public health? Why sports and exercise medicine? So I begin. Sports and exercise medicine is not simply just about treating injuries as the niche has it or as people perceive it to be. It is the very scientific foundation of athletic performance, community well-being, national health, and sustainable human development. Across the world, from Qatar to Europe, to anywhere around the world, sports medicine has evolved into a powerful ecosystem that combines multiple disciplinary angles and includes psychology, cardiology, neurology, nutrition, public health, biomechanics, and what have you. But for Africa, the conversation must go further because our bodies, our environment, and our sporting realities are fundamentally different. Africa is the youngest continent in the world. Our population are powerful, resilient, and genetically diverse. Our athletes excel in endurance, sprinting, power sports, combat disciplines at the highest level. From the Kenyan long-distance runner in the Eldoret regions of Kenya, the African athlete represents a unique physiological blend shaped by history, environment, metabolism, muscle composition, and the sociocultural expression of movement. I take you into our unique physiology, and I want to begin from our muscle fiber distribution. African and Afro-descent populations show a higher prevalence of type 2 muscles, or what we call the fast-twitch glycolytic muscles. And these are muscles that are associated with explosive speed and reactivity, relevant for football, boxing, and sprinting. We are endowed with unique bone density and injury patterns. Africans often present with higher cortical bone density, which influences fracture risk, recovery patterns, and load-bearing biomechanics. When it comes to cardiac adaptations, it is for no reason that studies show various variation in ECG patterns among African athletes, often interpreted as abnormal, using Western guidelines. And in my recent participation in the Advanced in Physician program in Senegal just last week, it was quite obvious that many of the cardiac variations and cardiac malformations that you find in African athletes were actually normal. And these were standardized in sports medicine books as abnormal. These realities mean Africa cannot simply import sports science or sports medicine protocols from Europe or America. Our athletes deserve frameworks tailored to our biology, our environment, our culture, and our sporting ecosystem. And this is exactly why Ghana, with a university like Uhas leading the way, must pioneer an African model of sports and exercise medicine. SEM, as some may have it, it's a public health tool as well, not just a sports tool, but as exercise being one of the most powerful interventions known in medicine to be able to contribute to the prevention of illness and the promotion of well-being. It reduces risk, improves prognosis across more than 35 medical conditions as evidenced. And this includes hypertension, diabetes, stroke, depression, osteoarthritis, obesity, cardiovascular disease, and certain cancers. For Ghana, where NCDs are rising rapidly, sports and exercise medicine is no longer a luxury for elite athletes. It is a survival strategy for our population. From my experience across many settings in sports and exercise medicine, the message has always been clear. Exercise-based healthcare would shape the next era of medical practices, where the intake of medications, the intake of orthodox interventions can be complemented with the advancement of sports and exercise medicine. Now, why do I say Ghana must lead in sports and exercise medicine? We have a uniquely athletically gifted population, a growing sports economy, a rising NCD burden, and a continental reputation in some key sports, and these include football, boxing, and athletics. We are proud by the vision of our erstwhile Vice Chancellor to the setup of the School of Sports and Exercise Medicine at Uhas, a young population whose health can be transformed through physical activity, as evidence has it. What we lack, I believe, is a coordinated scientific and medical system that links elite sports, public health, community physical activity, academic research, injury surveillance, innovation, and technology. And for me, this is where the field of sports medicine becomes transformative. In the development of the scientific African-centered sports and exercise medicine approach, I believe that our model must integrate African physiology, African injury epidemiology, African clinic and environmental demands, African socioeconomic realities, African cultural movement patterns, and African training loads, and I'll explain why. And this is because an African athlete is not a smaller or darker version of an European athlete. For some of us who've been exposed to the Bible, or what is described in the sports medicine world as the Bible of sports medicine, various editions of sports medicine manuals and books by Brunner and Sadat, Brunner and Khan, I think my nursing. Yeah. So yeah, back in nursing, we used to use Brunner and Sadat. In sports medicine, we have Brunner and Khan, and we have various versions of it. And to date, 99% of the data that is revolutionizing and informing how sports medicine practices is actually operationalized across various divides of sports medicine across the globe. It's based on data from the white man, naturally. And why am I concerned? I am concerned because you have the black man who is at risk of an injury such as exercise-induced muscle cramps. And this is largely because he's made up more of type 2 muscles, which is not energy efficient like the type 1 muscle, which is more energy efficient. And the management protocol for such injury for a type 1 muscle group person is different from a type 2. But the focus is largely on the majority of where the data set comes from. I am speaking about a field of specialty that many think it's normal medicine, but to me, it's a unique niche on itself, and I'll explain why as well. But before going there, I would want to talk about what is the real work of sports medicine and why sports medicine. At the very heart of sports and exercise medicine is an often misunderstood angle as a narrow specialty focused on only athlete care alone, and it's actually not that alone. But in reality, it is one of the most demanding multidisciplinary high-stakes fields in healthcare, requiring rapid decision-making, deep scientific knowledge, ethical clearance, and seamless teamwork. Allow me to take you into the real world of my sports and exercise experience, where I had lived as a ringside medical doctor, being the first Ghanaian trained and certified as a ringside medical doctor by the Association of Professional Boxing Medical Commissions. And in that world, I got to realize that from the ringside to the trenches of a place like Bukum, to the boxing arenas in the Olympic Games in Paris, from youth football tournaments to national team duties with the Black Meteors, I'd realized how appreciation of the transient changes in an athlete's performance from injury to distraction becomes very important in safeguarding the well-being and overall safety of the athlete. In my ringside experience, I described it as an experience where seconds protect lives. Ringside medicine remains one of the purest expressions of acute sports medicine. The noise, the tension, the adrenaline, they all demand absolute calm from the ringside doctor. When a boxer collapses from a blow or fails to respond promptly or shows the earliest signs of neurological compromise, the doctor must choose safety over spectacle, safety over economic investment, safety over your preference as to who you prefer as the best boxer as far as that particular competition is concerned. One wrong decision can cost a boxer his life or long-term brain health. This responsibility inspired my work in drafting Ghana's first boxing medical and safety code, a national framework that now defines how we protect Ghanaian boxers before, during, and after competition. And as I speak to you, this document is going to be unveiled, God willing, next week by the Sports Ministry. And I'm proud and happy to have been the lead author of this particular document. At the center of it is teamwork. And I say teamwork because MDT approach in sports medicine has over the years proven to be one of the most and the strongest bedrocks of sports medicine. It involves trauma nurses, paramedic and ambulance crews, physiotherapy, emergency technicians, CAT specialists, strength and condition coaches, competition officials, and many others. At the heart of it, ringside care has proven to me to be the perfect illustration of sports and exercise medicine's philosophy, which I described as no athlete stands alone. And for that purpose, safety is a team science. I move into my little experience in football medicine, serving as a GFA 3-member medical committee and as one of the medical leads for the Ghana Under-23 team. Football medicine requires speed, clarity, and mobility. As a member of such medical infrastructure, it has shaped my understanding and appreciation of how certain injuries are managed as a normal doctor and how certain injuries are managed as a sports and exercise medicine doctor. And I take you, with all due respect, which I share some insights with you. Whilst a sports and exercise medicine doctor, or let me say, whilst a general practitioner is usually focused on pain management, restoration of mechanical damage, sports and exercise physician is more concerned about functional optimization of the functional and functional restoration. So for example, when you are injured and you come to a hospital, a normally trained doctor may consider giving you an NSAID as part of your management. For those who don't know NSAID is just like any painkiller. For sports and exercise medicine, we say we don't give NSAIDs. We believe that at the heart of the restoration of soft tissue injuries is making sure that you don't give an NSAID. Why? Because we believe that the inflammatory process is very helpful to the restoration and the full recovery of soft tissues such as muscle, tendons, and ligaments in sports. Whilst a general medical practitioner will be interested in casting someone who has an ankle sprain, a sports medicine practitioner is actually interested in what we call early mobilization and load or controlled loading. All these are at the heart of evidence-based management. In cases that over the years, we used to manage them as general practitioners, little did we know that what we are actually doing is just restoring mechanical and structural deformities, when what we are supposed to focus on is the restoration of functional and optimization of return to performance. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to move into another interesting aspect of sports medicine that has actually inspired my pursuit in this angle, and that is anti-doping. I happen to be as being the first black man to be trained by an anti-doping organization in Denmark called Claridium. And I'm happy to say it's largely because of some unique traits that I noticed God has endowed me with. I speak English, I speak French, I speak Italian, and I speak some Spanish. And I realized that that has actually revolutionized my opportunity and ability to be able to network with a lot of people globally as far as this field is concerned. And why did I take this very serious? I noticed that the sort of mentorship, the sort of passion, and the sort of excellence that I need in this field, you definitely have to learn from the best. And the only way you can learn from the best is language. And at the heart of communication, it's language. And I must be grateful to God that this had actually been one of the qualities that had helped me to be able to integrate with multiple people across the divide as far as this field of specialty is concerned. It has actually enhanced my capacity in building more opportunities that has revolutionized my passion and my pursuits in this field. In anti-doping, it is the science of drug use in sports. And I say the science of drug use in sports. I was privileged to be around the Birmingham Olympic Games, where one of our boxers, who was actually stood to win a medal in that particular that particular competition, and unfortunately he was caught in an anti-doping menace, and it was as a result of ignorance. I have been at the forefront of some Ghanaian footballers, professional players, being at the forefront of some great career-changing contracts, only for them to lose those contracts because they were taking stuff that they never knew was actually banned in sports. What am I trying to say? Anti-doping has come to the point where making sure that there's no violation of the true spirit of sports, it's at the heart of competition and participation. and it has become a very integral part of sports medicine, understanding and appreciating the impact of drug use in sport. This understanding and appreciation of this context led me to develop the Confederation of African Football's first anti-doping manual for U15, which I did at the just-ended Africa Schools Championship. I did it both in French and English, and I was also the first doctor to develop the CAF Under-15 first initiative in anti-doping called the CAF Anti-Doping Ambassador Program. Today, I'm more than confident and happy to see a lot of our youth athletes equipped with capacity and knowledge and understanding of what to take, what not to take, as far as competition is concerned, making sure that their performance, their effort is not shortchanged by taking substances that is going to affect their well-being and also be tagged as cheating. I would want to move into a bigger message about SEM for most of the students here who keep asking myself, where lies the job opportunity for sports and exercise medicine? And for some of us, even before thinking about the job opportunities in sports and exercise medicine, as the saying goes, when you pursue excellence, opportunity comes to you. But then, for those of you who keep thinking, where lies some of these great opportunities and why should I get into sports and medicine? The answer is very simple. There are multiple niches in sports and exercise medicine that are yet to be tapped, especially within our geographical space. They include exercise sciences, physiotherapists who are focused in sports injury management, biomechanists, sports nutritionists, psychologists, performance analysts, strength and conditional specialists, coaches trained in injury prevention, rehabilitation specialists, and anti-doping officers. I dare say that close to 90% of all these officials are occupied by people who have been exposed to these opportunities and have built and enhanced their capacities there. And for those of you who love sports, this is a gentle reminder that you have a big role to contribute to the ecosystem, not only in Ghana, but also internationally. So far, I would like to say that I've shared so far what reflects my invisible side of sports medicine. In some sort of brief, the stadia, the arena, the bright light. But there is another side I would want to talk about, and that is the quiet clinics, the rehabilitation rooms, the elderly homes, the community spaces. I must say, sports medicine is not just for athletes. It is medicine for the society, and this is where we turn next. Ladies and gentlemen, sports and exercise medicine, as I indicated, is often seen as a reserve for elite athletes alone, but in truth, it is one of the most powerful tools for national health and community well-being. Around the world, sports has evolved into a major public health pathway because exercise, when prescribed scientifically and monitored properly, is one of the most effective treatments we have for many diseases, as I had mentioned earlier. What this means is simple, that sports and exercise medicine is not just athlete medicine, it is public health medicine. And for Ghana, which is now facing rising rates of NCDs, declining physical activity, increasing musculoskeletal disability for our elderly, the integration of sports and exercise medicine into our national system is no longer optional. It is essential. I believe we as a nation, we find ourselves at the crossroads. Our young population is becoming increasingly sedentary. And I believe strongly that it is a wake-up call for us to see how we can invest into such a field of specialty to be able to relish its overall impact on our well-being. Let us look at what I believe is at the center of relation national pride, which is sports medicine, and how it can strengthen that aspect of image and global competitiveness. At the Olympic Games, one of the most iconic incidents was the final 100-meter race. And for those, how many of you remember the final 100-meter race in the just ended Olympic Games? And that particular final 100-meter race and how it seemed to have been divided, or the divisions of that particular final meter race from the first to the eighth was just about 0.05. Sorry, the first and the second, 0.05 seconds. That's like a microfraction of a second. And at the center of it was what I described as precision in the investment of sports and exercise medicine. I believe that we do ourselves a very big disservice if we look at the impact, we look at the economic glory, not only the social glory that comes with sports medicine, and we don't invest in enhancing the precision and the accuracy of our athletes when it comes to performance at the elite level. Despite the enormous potential of sports and exercise medicine to transforming national health, Ghana faces a very huge critical gap that continues to hold us back. The first and ever most pressing challenge is the lack of a coordinated sports health system that I've identified in our sporting ecosystem. In many federations, many medical structures only exist on paper, and athletes' care often depends on individual goodwills, people who just have passion for it, or people who have just dedicated themselves to contribute to that field. Across football, boxing, athletics, and our traditional sports, we see inconsistent medical evaluations, weak emergency and preparedness or emergency management protocols, and a shortage. And I wouldn't probably describe it as a shortage. I would probably say the depth of trained sports and exercise medicine physicians. Because if a country like Ghana has been at the forefront of boxing over the years, and for those who don't know, Ghana, our first Olympic laurel was in boxing. Second, third, we've won in boxing, and it's only one Olympic laurel in football thus so far, and that was, I think, Barcelona 1992. And for a country like Ghana, who has been at the forefront of such events, and I can't look back and say we have a trained, certified APBC, or Association of Ringside Physicians, Certified Ringside Physicians, it clearly tells us that our focus is usually not on the science and the safety and the optimization of performance, but it's probably on the fact that we think we are naturally endowed to win. But today, we are experiencing it across multiple aspects of our divide. What we thought used to be a precept for an ordinary Ghanaian team to qualify for Olympics, today we are facing teams who are applying various forms of technology in optimizing their performance beyond just the natural talent that we have. It is a wake-up call. Today, you have elderly people who you see running, performing endurance exercises, when what exactly they are supposed to be doing is to be doing muscle strengthening exercises. It tells you that if we don't invest in such a field, we are not only doing a disservice to our youth, we are not only doing a disservice to our athletes, but we probably will be doing some big disservice to our older generation as well. Ladies and gentlemen, I move on to the next challenge that I've noticed within our sports sector, and it's also in football youth athletes, where we have increasing data from the recent GFA injury surveillance. We noticed a lot of increasing data in youth athletes, and the message was simple. Could it have been that their PE teachers or safeguarding issues at their basic level from school before coming was very poor? We've noticed a lot of certain kind of injuries we call apophysitis, the Osgood-Schlatter injuries that has got to do with the epiphyseal bones of young athletes or young children when they are participating. And it's largely because there aren't structures within the basic systems to be able to educate these athletes on load management and appropriate training modalities that would help preserve their epiphyseal regions and help them to be able to grow stronger bones and also optimize their performance in the longer years. Ladies and gentlemen, we may be doing a big disservice to our younger generation as well. On top of this, our national health priorities do not seem to fully recognize movement as medicine. Exercise prescription is not integrated in routine hospital care. CHIPS compounds do not run physically activity programs. And when I mention CHIPS compound, there's only one name that always resonates so much with pride, and that is our very first Vice Chancellor. And a big round of applause to him as well. However, there is no national sports and exercise medicine-led strategy for reducing NCDs through structured programs. And I've scanned through most of our public health policy documents. I've looked at our sports laws, I'll look at our sports protocols, and I feel it is also having a depth of exercise medicine-led NCD management protocols or structured program. And I believe it will contribute a lot to helping us reduce our NCD structures or our NCD's prevalence from 40% to a relatively more appreciable level. Ghanaians have never been guided through structured strength training, balance training, or neuromuscular exercises as it's supposed to be, and as it's supposed to be tailored to specific body types, as I've observed. I've been to many gyms, and I see people who have ectomorph in body type performing exercises that are actually supposed to be for endomorphs, people who are supposed to be endomorph body types performing exercises that are not in tune with them, people who want to lose weight are actually performing exercises that is actually going to help them to gain weight. Ladies and gentlemen, even at our recreational session, the depth of the appreciation of the science behind exercise is causing us more harm than good. It is extremely strong and untapped area that I believe most of the younger ones who are listening to me, who are passionate about this field, should know that just as our Vice Chancellor said, it shouldn't be your second or third option. It can also be your first option as well. These challenges are real and they are systemic and they require bold solutions. But they are also an opportunity. And for me, I believe it's an opportunity for an institution like Uhas, for Ghana's SEM community, for policymakers, and for the next generation of practitioners to build something new, something distinctly Ghanaian, evidence-based, and culturally grounded, and globally respected. Having examined where Ghana stands today, the natural question, next question is, where do we go from here? And my answer is clear. Ghana must build a modern, nationally coordinated, research-driven, internationally connected sports and exercise medicine systems that reflects our unique physiology, our unique sporting culture, and our public health needs. And I had to re-emphasize this because I believe it's integral to the revolutionizing of sports medicine in Ghana. The journey must begin with a very bold step. And I believe it must begin with this step. Unfortunately, I may not be able to Zoom, but that is me and one Dr. Hiba, who I met during my MSc training at the University of Loughborough University, which happens to be the #1 sports university in the world. And I was privileged to have been a Development Trust Africa Scholar. I was the first Ghanaian to be the Development Trust Africa Scholar in that particular university. And I always give a lot of gratitude to that university because that university really appears to have shaped a lot of my knowledge, my impact, and my exposure in the sports and exercise medicine space. On the lower left of that particular slide is the doctor who manages Neymar. For those of you who don't know Neymar, Neymar is a renowned Brazilian footballer. And it was at Loughborough University that I emerged the overall Odds and Ravenscourt postgraduate prize winner. And it gave me opportunity of interning at a facility that so many doctors in sports medicine have to queue for 3 years before you get the opportunity. That award gave me the opportunity of working with this doctor who, whilst with him, he called next patient, and the next patient was Neymar. As an ordinary Ghanaian, you know I couldn't control myself saying Neymar like that. The same thing happened to me when I met Anthony Joshua. Unfortunately, I'm not supposed to say this, but I was a doping control officer. My boss never told me I was going to meet Anthony Joshua. I was going to take a sample. I got there, Anthony Joshua was at the far end, and I was sitting, I kept looking at him, and he called me and said, "Omo Ghana man, I know you want to take a picture with me. Who are you not to take that picture?" Unfortunately, in line with the ethics of the profession, I couldn't show that picture. I only show it to my friends. But what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that at the heart of such professions, it is exposure, appreciation of the science, and working at the highest level that makes you to be able to appreciate the necessary experience and intelligence and knowledge that is needed to refine the practice across many aspects and divides of our practice. At the top is Dr. Celeste Getsema, who I was privileged to have met last week in Senegal during the advanced team physician training. And she happens to be the chief medical officer for the 2022 FIFA World Cup. And I'm privileged and happy to call her a mentor as well. But talking about mentors are amazing people who, one way or the other, have shaped my passion and vision for this. Unfortunately, I don't have the pictures of some of them. One of them happens to be a lecturer who was at this university. I quite remember she was one of the first people I spoke to, Madam Drusilla. I also spoke to Madam Mary Agoriwo, Mr. Daniel Ajukache, he's not here. These are people who never said, "Dude, what are you going to do in sports and exercise medicine?" But they actually saw my passion. They actually saw my passion in the field, and they decided to urge me on and encourage me to pursue this field. My first supervisor in Uhas, Dr. Felix Nyande, I don't know if he's here. I'd like to say a big thank you to him. He was one of those who actually inspired my pursuit for research that I continue to pursue in my field of sports and exercise medicine. I've been notified that I just have 5 minutes, and I'm sorry, when you're passionate about something, you speak from your core, and sometimes you forget that you have a script. So, of what essence is talking about problems without discussing policy recommendations and solutions? And knowing that I have limited time, and in respect to the prominent and dignitaries that are here, I would like to zoom rather into looking at policy recommendations and structures. The first one, which is at the heart, and it's at the core of whatever I do, and it's one of the visions I would want to relish, is to see Uhas become the first university in West Africa to be able to embody the first FIFA and IOC Center of Medical Excellence in Sports Medicine. I say this with full passion, and it was at the center of the discussions that I had with the IOC Chief Medical Officer, Professor Rohad Bar, during the annual Advanced Team Physician Program in Senegal. And I asked him, Prof, if you look at the whole entire African sub-region, there are about 43 IOC Center of Medical Excellences in the world. And guess how many we have in Africa? Who can guess how many we have in Africa? Who can guess how many we have in Africa? So just imagine the country, how many? Thank you very much. A big round of applause to him. So if you go to the Olympic Games, you see one country with the highest number of participants, and it's that country, it's in South Africa. It is now that Morocco has identified and appreciated the excellence of having sports and exercise medicine incorporated into their infrastructure that today you see Morocco also performing, and now they are building their second one. Now, from Morocco to South Africa in Stellenbosch and Cape Town and Pretoria, we don't have any across the sub-region. And I believe that Ghana is strategically positioned. I believe Uhas is strategically positioned to be able to have such a structure brought to this center. I say this with so much pride, and I hope that I'll be able to contribute my call as an amazing individual who has been shaped by an institution that blazes the trail in whatever we do, who has been shaped in believing that the black man is also capable, who has been shaped into believing that an institution like Uhas can produce amazing doctors like my sister Lucy, like myself, like many other great doctors that I meet in the hospital, and you ask them, which facility did you train? And they said, you are Uhas trained. I feel like then what stops us in believing that we are truly a rising giant to be able to set up such a facility in this edifice? Ladies and gentlemen, I move on to my next one, and it is conscientious investment in research. It is connected to the National Center of Sports and Exercise Medicine, but I say this because in line with the structures to be able to have such a facility, you need to meet some standards of quality research before IOC or FIFA will be willing to help accredit such a facility and invest money into it. If we don't invest, how do we get them, or how do we be able to appreciate the quality research we are supposed to do, to be able to speak to our data, to be able to attract such level of investment? As I speak to you, the only one in Africa attracts close to $1 million of investment and of grant funding almost every single year. Why can't Uhas do this? We can do this. I would also want to move on to the next one, that I believe Ghana requires a structured STEM workforce pipeline, which will train sports physicians, physiotherapists, exercise scientists, analysts, rehabilitation experts through accredited programs and fellowship as we have today. It's unfortunate that even though we have such structures building up like Uhas, at the College of Physicians and Surgeons, we seem not to be having a lot of doctors interested. And it's largely because I still believe that a lot of people are ignorant of this impact of such a field in the improvement of the overall well-being on our health infrastructure. Third, I would also like to say that our country must prioritize the creation of standardized medical infrastructure at various sports venues. It came to me as a shame when I had calls from various ringside physicians globally who were trying to inquire for me what seems to be happening in Ghana when they heard the death of 2 boxers in Ghana. And at the heart of it, you noticed that we seem to have relegated a very important ingredient of sports and exercise medicine, which is exquisiteness and emergency evacuation plans and emergency management, just to the floor or just to the latter. And it clearly tells you that people keep doing the same things over and over because they feel nothing will happen until one day becomes a very bad day. We can't continue this way. The next point I would want to talk about is on the issue of building a future where sports medicine protects our athletes, strengthens our community, and improves national health, and essentially helps in enhancing the age of our population. Why do I say this? In the UK, they've come to identify that the unique population, as far as UK elderly, has been enhanced by exercise-based and evidence-based sports medicine practices that seem to have shaped the national public health and recreational medicine policy for UK. And today, the kind of exercises that an over 60 years person is involved and associated with is different from what a 50-year person is advised to do. And this is largely application of sports medicine. We cannot continue to look back at our elderly people into taking medications all the time. We have a role to play. In respect of the time that we have, I would like to say that I stand here not only as a speaker, but as a son of this great institution, and also as a proud pioneer who has returned here to deliver this lecture, which is at the core of what I love to do and the ambition that I continue to pursue. But in the vision that we seek for sports and exercise medicine in Ghana, it cannot build itself. It needs humans, it needs structures, and it needs all of us in tandem to be able to help build such a vision. I would like to say that the message has been simple but more profound. I'd like to hit you with these few take-home messages as I respect the time that we have. That let us all be remembered that sports and exercise medicine is not athlete medicine, but it is a national health, performance, and development medicine, and that movement is truly medicine. African athletes need African science. African athletes don't need European or westernized science. Let us remember that safety in sports is a system, and it's not just a person, and it thrives on the multidisciplinary approach of sports and exercise medicine. Let us remember that a National Center for Sports and Exercise Medicine is essential for progress, and at the heart of it is our dream and belief that Uhas is going to be integral to this development. And finally, I would like to say that for most of the young ones who are gathered here, let us be remembered that sports and exercise medicine careers are wide and multidisciplinary. You don't necessarily have to be a sports medicine physician like me. There are multiple options that you can explore and also contribute to the impact of sports and exercise medicine. And finally, to say, the future belongs to the nation that moves safely, scientifically, and consistently. To conclude, at the end, just like I indicated, the message has been simple but profound and also clear. That sports and exercise medicine is the science that holds Ghana's future in our sporting landscape and also is going to be integral in our health landscape as well. It is the field that protects the fighter in Bukom, empowers the footballer in Takwa, restores mobility to the elderly in Ho, and shields the dreams of every young athlete across the national divide. SEM teaches us that the movement is medicine and that early loading heals better than just rest. That concussion is an emergency and not just a suggestion. That Ghanaian athletes deserve African-centered science and that no nation can rise on weak bodies. If Ghana wants to compete globally, reduce NCDs, strengthen communities, and build resilient citizens, then sports and exercise medicine must become part of our schools, our hospitals, our federations, and also our national identity. I believe the future belongs to countries that keep their people moving safely, strongly, and sustainably. And today, I believe more than ever that Ghana can lead that future. Let us walk away knowing that protecting athletes is protecting a nation, and that investing in sports medicine is investing in Ghana's strength, pride, and dignity. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Let's give it up to him one more time. That was very, very inspiring. Thank you so much, Doctor. We appreciate your time. One thing I pick is sports medicine is not just for athletes, but a medicine for society. So if you have, I'm giving just 5 minutes. If you have any questions you would want to ask, Doc is here to respond to you. So, yeah. So if you have any questions, just raise up your hand. We'll get to you. All right. There is a hand up there. 2 hands. I want to see the hands at once so that I know we are taking them once and not again. So 2 hands up. You can say okay.
Thank you. My name is Daniel Kelly Hachu. I would like to thank Doctor for his education and his in-depth into sports medicine. Please, on several occasions, we seem to be limiting the education to only the secondary school students and the tertiary level, forgetting our traditional roots which our mothers in the house, then to the basic level. Because it takes our parents to discourage our brothers and sisters from pursuing this. Then when you go to the basic schools, our headmasters do stop our children from participating in sports, telling them it will never make them to focus on their book and it will render them blunt. They will not be intelligent, which is a very huge catastrophe that is being happening to our children. And we don't seem to work on that to benefit the society, and it is still causing harm. So what will be our service to these people, making them aware of the benefit of this cause? Then secondly, I would like to ask Doc, I'm a sports person. I am a Division II club owner, physio, and my coach is here as well. When a player, after jogging for like 25 minutes, they stop, is it advisable for the player to consume water at the moment that they stop? Because we know at that point the heart is at a level that taking in water may cause, I'm not friendly with English, is it suffocation? Like, if I say it in Ewe, by taking the water, it may choke you because of the breathing level of the heart at that moment. So I would like to ask Doctor to educate us on that, because we have been causing more harm to our players. Thank you.
Thank you. Doc.
All right, thank you.
So you respond and we take the next
All
question.
right, okay, so maybe I can start from the last one, then I move to the first one. So when an athlete is performing or running and he stops, because the athlete is tired, in the middle of running, you should be thinking of so many things. You cannot just assume about the athlete just getting choked or not. I mean, physiologically, that's not possible. I think you should be asking yourself why just within 5 minutes the athlete is tired. Because if it's a footballer or who is an athlete, your body is primed, obviously, not to get tired within just 5 minutes. And that sports physician assessment, the first thing that will come to mind is a condition called exercise-induced laryngeal. How many minutes? 25 minutes. Good, 25 minutes. And that is still possible. So how many times, you need to find out how often does that happen. Because people could get tired. And you realize that recovery in sports is extremely important. How well has the person rested? And in recovery, at the core of recovery, like Maslow's theory, is rest. Adequate rest the day before performance is extremely important. So you have some athletes who are not well rested. Obviously, it's going to reflect in their performance. But then, you may want to rule out a lot of conditions that happen to a lot of young people who don't actually know. Close to, I think, 21% of black athletes who get tired in the middle of participation, mostly it is exercise-induced laryngeal obstruction, but people don't know. Unlike exercise-induced bronchoconstriction, which usually happens 3 to 5 minutes after the person has finished whatever he's doing, and that is where they start having respiratory problems and all that. You get it? But if it's about tiredness, there is something in sports with relative energy deficiency syndrome, and it's all about how energy is made available to that athlete. So it is about the athlete's diet. Is it a male or female? Male. Good. So it's a male athlete, how well the athlete has been consuming. Because you see, energy availability, it's more like a function of consumption and usage. So if you don't consume adequate energy, adequate calories, then you don't expect to be able to have adequate energy during participation. And that is why sports nutrition is extremely important in sports medicine. It's a multidisciplinary approach. So when you bring such an athlete, I may not sit back and say, as a doctor, I would want to involve the sports nutritionist to make sure that the athlete's energy availability is always there. The athlete is well rested to make sure that the athlete is not suffering from fatigue-induced related. So it's a lot of things can contribute to that.
Thank you. Sorry for skipping this. Unfortunately, we don't know about the anti-doping case. And during match days, or maybe on training days, when a player sustains an injury, we ignorantly give them some painkillers that we may not know it's against the laws of football. Which of the painkillers are not supposed to be given to a player during training days or even going into games? We would like to know. We don't know the names of the drugs that we may be taking that will worry our players.
Thank you. So I think I said it in my presentation, why sports and exercise medicine, it's not just normal medicine. Because we are always interested in restoration and optimization of the athletes at the highest level. We are not just interested in our athletes feeling normal and there's no more pain. So it's evidenced that when you give NSAIDs, now anytime there's an injury is a form of it's inflammation. And there is, for the purposes of the students, I'll try to break it down. So during inflammation, there is extravasation of certain elements, signals that are going there to make sure that there is going to be mopping of that particular area. Now, those fluids that go there, which is part of the cardinal signs of inflammation, the swelling, the pain, and all that, that fluid in sports medicine has been proven to contribute a lot to the overall restoration of that soft tissue injury, whether it's a ligament, whether it's a bone, or whether it's a muscle. And that is what a lot of people don't know. So someone is injured and you go and give brufen, you go and give diclo, and you are actually going to, interfere with that very important aspect of tissue healing. And so people don't know that. But a doctor or any health practitioner who just knows that as a pain management protocol will just give it without knowing that you are actually going to interfere with the long-term recovery of that particular. So basically, it depends on the type of injury. For example, when it comes to hamstring injury, the evidence is simple. Even when the athlete cannot walk, what you do is controlled loading, because controlled loading has been proven to be very helpful in the overall optimization of the recovery. You don't say go and rest. If it's an ankle injury, depending whether grade 1, grade 2, mostly it's the ATFL, you would obviously want to do your first 24, 48 hours management of the pain. And management of pain is not always about painkillers. You can do your icing, you can do your elevation. I mean, all those things will just help manage the pain. But at worst, if the pain threshold is quite severe, then you want to do a non-NSAID, like ordinary paracetamol, or probably the opioid analgesics if the pain is that severe. Whichever way, I would recommend that if the pain is bearable, you probably look at the other protocols of pain management. Don't give an NSAID till after 48 hours. Then you quickly start early mobilization, because in sports, your number one goal is restoration to not return to play, but return to performance. And that is often achieved by not allowing fibrosis to happen. You have to start early mobilization, unless it is grade 3, grade 4, or an avulsion. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll take the next question. And let's make sure we make the questions very brief, okay? Like concisely. Thank you.
Okay. My name is Stephanie. I'm a student of Sports and Exercise Medicine, School of Sports and Exercise Medicine. I'm in my second year. Doc, please, I have 2 questions. The first one, you spoke about job opportunities locally and internationally. I would like to ask, locally, what opportunities are ready to accommodate us, those of us coming out of the school? Then the second question is, what about the government? What is the government doing for us? Because we know some of our colleagues reading other programs are at home. And I know most of us here wouldn't want to finish up and be at home. When I was applying for this program, my mother told me I shouldn't finish and come and sit in the house and be counting cobwebs. So, yes, I would like to know what the government is doing for us too. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So the first question... Hello, yeah. So the first question was about job opportunities. So there's something interesting about sports medicine that I always say, that if you don't have passion for sports medicine, you cannot get into it. It's very important. I say this because if you listen to my lecture, you realize that there are various aspects of sports medicine that has not actually been appreciated, because you need, beyond just pursuance of it, you need to have passion for it. And before you can get to the point of excellence where you can start feeling like you're earning something, you probably might have volunteered a lot. Most of the experiences that today has shaped me into becoming a valuable person for the Ghana Boxing Authority, to the point that I had to be called by Azuma Nelson to plead with me not to come for this lecture, it's because I had to pursue a lot of voluntary work that gave me the knowledge and the capacity that I have today for him to find me indispensable. And it's unfortunate most of the youth today, they don't like volunteering. They just start working today and start getting money. But in sports and exercise medicine, trust me, it's hands-on. It's hands-on. You have to learn from you have to expose yourself, you have to sacrifice and pick the skills. And it's by picking the skills, demonstrating the skills, revealing impact, and that is where someone wants to pay you for it. So it's not like those traditional, fields where it's already established. You are a nurse and we know what you can do. So even if you're a lazy nurse, someone still with all due respect, even if you're a lazy nurse, someone knows what you can do, so he wants to pay you. In sports and exercise medicine, you need to demonstrate beyond the norm, because it's more like a niche that is based on evidence and the results are there. So if you're not willing to volunteer, if you're not willing to go the extra mile, if you're not willing to sacrifice, I'm sorry, sports and exercise medicine is not your thing. Thank you very much.
All right.
Then the next thing about opportunities. Another interesting thing about sports medicine is exploring opportunities. It's very important. It's quite diverse. The opportunities always come from volunteering. Because if you don't volunteer, how do I know that I can probably connect you to be part of the medical team and you are passionate about it? It is by volunteering that I see your passion. And per my experience in sports and exercise medicine, I would not pick anybody into anywhere if you don't have the passion for it. Because there comes times that you have to just sacrifice abnormally. For example, in doping control, if the athlete doesn't produce the urine, you have to stay with the athlete. I've stayed with an athlete all cross till 6 a.m. before I got the urine. And you see, it's a very sensitive thing, because you see, when the athlete is caught for any banned substances, they would have to do an audit of all the processes. And if you are caught tired, going to rest, it interferes with the quality of the whole process. And doping control is a very big thing. So you need passion beyond just saying it is a job opportunity for you to be at the forefront of trying to take an athlete sample to be taken for testing. You need more than passion to sit at the ringside and be there continuously. I've been at the ringside, and sometimes you'll be there from bout starts at 8 p.m. and it finishes 3 a.m. That's the earliest it finishes. And you have to open your eyes, excuse me to say Gani at all times, observing all kinds of cuts, assessing it. If you don't have passion for it, you're not going to sit there and do that. So if you come and volunteer with me, and you are not showing that level of diligence, how do I feel like recommending you to somebody? So now, with the government, I must say that I had a meeting with the sports minister. I think yesterday we had some conversation, and I can clearly tell that sports medicine is at the heart of what he's doing. Today he's not here because he's on another sports medicine meeting, sports medicine conference that is being organized by the College of Sports and Physicians. He was there during the inauguration of the National Sports and Exercise Medicine Ghana Association. And for a sports minister to be present at such an association tells you that he's actually committed and he understands the science of it. Fortunately, we have a sports minister who comes from a health background. So he also understands the impact and the science of sports medicine in our sporting landscape. Now, thirdly, my development of the Ghana boxing and medical safety was highly inspired by the sports minister. And for a sports minister to acknowledge and encourage you to develop such a thing and push you or urge you on to do such a thing means that this is somebody who understands the impact of sports medicine. And he had actually used that model that I developed to encourage other physicians or other sports medicine practitioners in other sporting disciplines to be able to develop unique medical and scientific codes that speaks to those contexts. I believe this is a good starter. This is somebody who is demonstrating appreciation of the impact of sports medicine, and it can only get better. But trust me, like I said earlier, without volunteering, without passion, it's difficult to get job opportunities in sports medicine. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So we'll take the last question. Doc will be available for about just 30 minutes after the program for you to have. If you have any other questions you feel you could ask, then you do that. So we'll take the last question from...
Thank you. Thank you very much. My name is Stanley Agbelenubia, Lokoe Technical Institute, social studies teacher. Sir, may I know if it is advisable that when jogging, you carry bottled water along, sipping while jogging? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So I'd want to talk about a very interesting aspect of exercise or performance optimization, and that is hydration. One of the things I observed when I got into the GFA, I started getting concerned about, that is not to say they were not doing it, but I started observing was when people get tired, then they drink. First and foremost, when you are tired, you are sweating, you know what you lose. You're actually losing electrolytes, even though water forms a very integral part of it. It's electrolytes, and not only just water. You're losing salt, you're losing some and certain ions that play a very key role in the homeostasis of your physiology. Make it simple. These elements are not just elements in your sweat. They play a very key role in the way your heart beats. and coordination happens. Purpose that you notice that at the elite level, the drinks that they take at the pitch side, it's not usually just water. It is electrolytes that have been well fed to help with the restoration of some of the electrolytes that they are losing during participation. So first and foremost, when you ask me that when you get tired, do you drink water? Is it nothing? It depends on the level of tiredness. It depends on the level at which you know, some people sweat more than some people. Someone can just walk here 3-4 times and they've lost a lot of. Some just can do that for 5-10 times and they don't sweat. So one of the things that we do for athletes is to monitoring their weight before and after exercise, and it helps us to be able to hear those who lose a lot of weight through sweat, and it also helps us to tailor the way you optimize it. For the local person, I want to say from moderate to high intensity exercise, one of the ways you can restore energy, coconut water and some bits of salt. It gives you the needed electrolytes. It's very important. That's if you can afford the high-level electrolytes and all that. However, if you exercise and you take in just ordinary water, there is something we call exercise-induced hyponatremia. Let me make it hypo. It's low. Natremia is sodium. Sodium is one of the major elements in extracellular fluid, usually in sweat. So if you sweat a lot of sodium and you take in water, you are further diluting the little sodium that you have in your system, and it affects your cognition, it affects your brain health, it affects a lot of things. So the answer is very simple. It depends on the level of exercise, but you be mindful of the fact that when you are involved in high intensity, moderate intensity, and you are sweating and all that, what you are losing is not just water. You are losing electrolytes. And if you lose a lot of electrolytes, for example, potassium, whether potassium is high or low, it can cause abnormal cardiac activity, whether hyperkalemia, hypokalemia. So it is very important that people are equipped with this knowledge to understand when you are excessively tired, what you need is not always just water. Of the electrolytes that you've also lost in your sweat. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you very much. I'm very, I don't know, very satisfied, and I don't know which other words to use, but from his lecture, it's a follow-up to say that is going to be one of our faculty members. From his lecture, we're going to say we use his network to improve the resources at the School of Sports and Exercise Medicine to provide the hands-on training that this university stands for. I'm not sure who is listening to me, but I know that our very special guest, who is a member of Council of State for the region, are here. Our message to him is that we'd want to invite him to Uhas to see what is here, to have a further discussion to see how he can hold our hands to grow the School of Sports and Exercise Medicine. I'll say that 4-year training is not enough. The school is currently developing various master's level programs to bring in the sports nutrition, the sports psychology, and the other options that you need to enhance your skills in the area of sports and exercise medicine. Like I said from the beginning, it should not be a second or third choice. These are massive. So the way our doctor has been given the opportunity to travel many countries, many opportunities, I'm sure some of his colleagues do anything sports, not traveled yet. I think I am sure, but okay. How many of you graduated the nursing program? 64. If I call all of them today, I'm sure some of them wouldn't have gone anywhere. The sports and exercise medicine platform has given him a lot of opportunities. So I want to say that when you go back, teachers, Gabriel and your colleague, if you can share the link to the program with the teachers so they can share on a PTA platform in the various schools here. Parents should know that our program, the Uhas program, is not training an athlete. But you see, if you preach and you yourself, you don't do what you preach, something wrong. I don't believe that the person who is working within that space should not be active, in quotes. Doctor, maybe I'll give you the microphone again to give a little light the attributes, the attitude of the person who is supposed to be a sports and medicine practitioner, okay? So that at the end, you don't sleep and get up every day and you are a sports and medicine person. There must be some of your life that can, speak to what you are doing. So I want to say that we'll work with our speaker today to see how we can collaborate and work together to grow the School of Sports and Medicine. Thank you.
Thank you. So, all right, did that for us.
I'm deeply honored hearing all these amazing words from our first female of such a noble institution. And I'd like to say thank you very much, Ma. I'm grateful. So in terms of the attitude of a sports and exercise medicine, foremost, I would like to say curiosity. Until I got into sports and medicine, I never knew that it was going to be the most evolving field. I never knew. And I say this is because for those of us in the sports and exercise medicine space, in conservative management, RICE protocol. We all remember, right? Rest, ice, compression. Then it moved to what? Price. Protective loading, rest, ice, compression. It became something we call peace and love. Then it became police. Protect the limb or protect that part. Optimization of the load. Then ice again. Then eventually it keeps going on and on. What am I trying to say? Now it gets to the point where they say, you don't do RICE for certain injuries like hamstring injuries or ankle injuries. You do it for this and that. You need to be very curious to be sports and exercise medicine. And curiosity would only come from not necessarily participating or partaking in research, but also trying as much as possible to read materials. I mean, LinkedIn has been quite helpful for some of us to be able to network with lots of sports medicine physicians and be able to identify up-to-date, evidence-based sports medicine practices that are in tune with whatever we do. And I believe that is the only way you can get your confidence from it. If you have the capacity to be able to undertake some research within your cohort, please don't underestimate it. Get the relevant support from any faculty to guide you. Because one of the rich, I would say one of the cocaine in sports medicine now is data, proper data from African sporting cohort. And this is because we have unique genetic makeup. Our environmental exposure gives us some uniqueness when it comes to our sporting participations. And I give an example of how you would manage an elderly person in India is different from how you manage an elderly person in Europe. And now Europe has realized that they need data from our area. So you should be interested in doing some research. Unlike other fields of medicine, someone will say you don't chart a new path. As I tell you, medicine in research, saying you don't blaze a new trail, it's already been blazed. In sports and exercise medicine, you should be passionate about research as well. Then the next thing, like I said, you should be passionate about the sports. Why do I say this? Understanding the sports is also very important in knowing how to protect the athlete. You may not necessarily have to be a footballer. I was fortunate, I loved sports. I've played some semi-professional football. I was a table tennis captain, handball captain in my infancy days. So at the core of whatever I do, I love sports. So I'm able to interpret what happens when it happens. And it's because I've also participated in sports. When I'm in Uhas, I was part of the school team. So anybody knows I love sport. But then, you don't necessarily have to be a sports person to be able to appreciate sports medicine. You should be interested in applying evidence-based medicine, in improving the health of athletes. For those of you who don't know, when you participate in sports, how do you feel mentally? Don't you realize that you start feeling mentally well? One of the ways we manage suicidal patients is sometimes engaging in social activities. And it tells you the power behind sports. The impact is just enormous. It's very important. About sports medicine is try as much as possible, it's quite broad, to identify a niche for yourself. It's quite broad. Anti-doping, drug use in sports is there. You can now come into sports nutrition, biomechanics, another interesting aspect of sports that is also there. You could also go into physiology. I can go on and on, close to about over 60 divides of sports and exercise medicine. And if you specialize yourself there, you create a niche for yourself. I'm quite a young doctor, but it's because of the niche I'm creating in this space that I would say by the grace of God, people recognize what I'm doing and they give me opportunities. So you should be willing to go all out. It's, I keep saying, it is not a field that has been all established. If I ask you to mention sports physicians in Ghana, I dare say you cannot even mention 5. I myself, I cannot even mention 5. So what does that tell you? It means that it's quite a gray area that you have to develop. Sports administration, important aspect that you cannot underestimate. It's very important. You need to understand the minds of an athlete to be able to see how you can coordinate them to optimize their performance. So it is such a gray area that we should look at. Opportunities keep coming. The only thing I would say that may be unique to my situation is the fact that I speak multiple languages. And it strategically positions me to be able to compete with even people who are higher than me. I speak French, I speak some Italian, Spanish. So there are some opportunities. So I quite remember at the Olympic, they had to ask me, when did I finish medical school? How did I qualify to be here? Then later, the answer was, I was stationed at where Italy was, France was, I think Senegal was. So it was more tailored to the languages that I spoke. So I can be a good sports physician, and when I'm taking sample, in anti-doping, you have to educate them on their rights and responsibilities. You have to, because you need to understand their language, and language was very important. What am I trying to tell you? To be able to explore opportunities, you should also find more languages. If only you could. I mean, I understand that the psyche of neurology when it comes to language, the Broca area that is responsible for language is, the surface area is relatively long. But as you age, it becomes difficult. So one of the things I did was to make sure that I deliberately made friends with people in these languages that I speak. So almost every day of my life, my Facebook, Instagram, whatever, it is 90% either French or Spanish, because all my friends like Gabriel, he only speak Ewe or English with me. But the only way I can keep up with the language is to consciously, and you may not necessarily have to be fluent like me. Just make the effort to be able to understand what it takes to ask somebody, what is wrong with you? Are you okay? What pain? Basic communication, make the effort. And I think the international community will be happy to have you, because sports, it's a global culture. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, our keynote speaker. He speaks multiple languages, so in just a minute, give us kind of a closing remark or your passing remarks in VCC's French.
Thank you.
Our French teachers back in school, Jesus my Lord. I will prefer Spanish, but VCC's French, so let's go through French. I will speak the Spanish when it's done.
Merci à tous pour cet événement. Je suis très heureux pour que tu aies me donné cette opportunité pour présenter mon opportunité ici pour tous les étudiants ici. Ça m'a fait beaucoup de heureux, ça m'a fait beaucoup de plaisir pour lever ici, pour faire ces présentations concernant les choses, pour associer dans les choses de sport de médecine. Mais aussi, je voudrais vous dire, je voudrais vous exaucer mes remercier à Gabriel, le président de l'association de l'Alumni de cette université, le vice-chancellor aussi.
Dr. Joy Akamezi, HOD for SEM Uhas. Let's give it up to her. I've watched Doc in person show up some sports activities at Likbe Bala in May during our World Menstrual Hygiene Day. She's a very solid woman when it comes to sports and exercise medicine. Let's give it up to her one more time. We have Dr. Anthony Kirk, who is the head of Department of Midwifery, Uhas. Let's give it up to him. Representing the area commander for Ghana Police Service, we have Madam Brown Mercy Wilson. Let's clap for her. Thank you so much. We have ADOI Dennis Clay, representing the Ghana National Fire Service Commander. Let's give it up to him. We have Mr. Anthony Asempa, Director of Public Affairs of Uhas. Here, let's clap for him, doing massively well for us. We have our newly inducted prof who just stepped up, Professor Elvis Takan, Dean of Office of International Programs, Uhas. Let's give it up for him. He was sitting right here. We have our keynote speaker, I'll introduce him again, Dr. Eric Tete, who just delivered that wonderful, inspiring speech for us. Let's clap for him. We have Mama Bobby II, Queen Mother of Bake Ho Bankwe, who is our chairperson. So, representing here, we have the Director of Public Affairs well represented here. Let's give it up to them. Directorate IT, we recognize you. Those watching us online, we appreciate you. So we have our current GRASAC president, Felix Dola Nimado, in our presence. Let's give it up to him. And all the GRASAC executives. So we have Mr. Godwin Ejay, who is the former GRASAC president and faculty at CAF University, a proud alumni here with us. Let's give it up to him. We have Dr. Cedric, who is our Director of Academic Affairs, well represented here. Let's clap for him. We have Mr. Daniel, who is representing His Excellency Gabriel Tanko today here. Let's clap for him if he's here. Let's see you by hand. Where is Mr. Daniel? Okay. Oh, you are welcome. All right. He has brought us a lot of money, so we'll be taking it from him before he leaves. All right. So we have Ola Girls Senior High. Let's clap for them. We have Marco Girls Senior High. Let's clap for them. Sokode Technical Senior High. Let's see you. We want to see you. Very good. Beautiful. Whole Technical Institute. Where are they? Whole Technical Institute. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. You have Whole Lokoe Technical. We have Whole Lokoe Technical Institute. Oh, okay, SecTech. Who has a lot of schools? Please come to Uhas when you are done, whatever you are doing there. So we have students from School of Nursing and Midwifery. Let's clap for them. Students from SEM. Let's clap for them. We have representatives from the School of Public Health, Fred M. Baker School of Public Health here. Myself, I'm an alumni, a proud one. So we have our online viewers. Let's clap for them. And as well, to all alumni present, thank you. We have our registrar. Okay. We have the Dean of Sonam, Peter Adatara, in our midst. Let's give it up to him. Professor, sorry. Professor. Prof, sorry. Thank you. So we have Miss Ya Amankwa Oponi, who is a registrar of Uhas. Let's give it up to her. And we have our Vice Chancellor, well represented here. Let's give a sounding of honor of applause to Professor Lydia Aziato. Thank you all. My name is Paramount. I'm your MC for the day. I'm also here. Clap for me.
Okay, so we have a presentation from the very first Vice Chancellor of this university, Emeritus Prof. Fred Newton Binka. And then to do that presentation is Dr. Med Lucy Jani Binka. Please, let's welcome her with a round of applause. So the presentation is going to be done and then given to our keynote speaker.
So, thank you very much. Emeritus Professor is the godfather of our guest speaker. And today he had to travel for an important assignment. That's why he's not here. And so he said that I mention him to you, that he's very, very proud of his son today for doing this. He has actually been part of his progress, part of his studentship, his career to date. And he presents to Doug this beautiful bouquet from him and his family. Thank you very much, Prof. And she also is an alumnus of the university, Dr. Med Lucy Jan Benka. Shall we give them a round of applause?
Please, we have a few presentation of citations that you want us to help us with.
Okay. Where is it? We have also established a culture in the university, and that is to have the speaker be a patron of the alumni. So today we confer So on behalf of the alumni, we are presenting a citation to him. Can you give me the mic, guys? University of Health and Allied Sciences Alumni Association, citation presented to Dr. Eric Tete Aite, MD, MSc, Sports and Exercise Medicine, alumnus of Uhas. In recognition of your outstanding professional achievements, dedication to advancing sports and exercise science, and commitment to giving back to your alma mater, the University of Health and Allied Sciences Alumni Association proudly honors you as the first alumnus to deliver the Uhas Alumni Lecture. We are proud of you for exemplifying the values of Uhas through your remarkable career, your dedication to mentorship, and your continued contributions to the advancement of health and exercise science. Your achievements inspire our students and alumni alike, strengthening the vision and impact of both the university and Alumni Association, and setting a standard of excellence for future generations. Aiko. So we are presenting to him as being the keynote speaker for our second alumni lecture. This sash also very good. Mama, please step forward. University of Health and Allied Sciences Alumni Association citation presented to Mama Bobi III, Queen of Bake, Ho-Bankwe, Asogli State. In recognition of your exemplary leadership and unwavering commitment to women empowerment and youth development, the University of Health and Allied Sciences Alumni Association proudly honors you as chairperson of the second Uhas Alumni Lecture. Your guidance, mentorship, and dedication continue to inspire our alumni and students, strengthening the vision and impact of the university and the association. Your tireless service to the people of our state and your advocacy for education and community development reflects the highest ideals of leadership. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Registrar, for doing us the honor. So let's do this quickly. Yes. That's beautiful. Thank you. So we have Nana Boafo Jim Dakwa, who is Director of Public Affairs, I think. Public Affairs, yes. Yes, represented here. Let's give it up to them. And our School of Hygiene, we skipped a little. Let's clap for them. They are here. Sorry, our neighbors. Our neighbors are School of Hygiene. Let's clap for them. Why are you not doing that? The current SRC president is well represented, Mr. Michael. I see you. Welcome. And I've called Sunrise, right? I did. Sunrise, I called you. Sunrise Christian High is here. Let's clap for them. All right. So, sorry if I skip any. Then our Senior Assistant Registrar, Head of Public Relations, Director of Public Affairs, Dex for Alumni Association. We appreciate each and every one of you for what you've done and putting this program together for us. Thank you so much. I will quickly invite our Alumni President. He has a little information to give to us before we continue with the rest of the program. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We are glad to inform you all that our special guest of honor, His Excellency Gabriel Tanko Komiga Atople, has just sent in 10,000 Ghana cedis to support this program. On behalf of the Uhas Alumni Association, we want to say a big thank you to His Excellency Gabriel Komiga Atople. So his representatives here, Council, thank you so much. We are grateful. Thank you.
Okay, so we want to take the chairperson's closing remarks.
I am so excited about what has happened here today. Since I became queen, has it been 4 years, almost 4 years, this is what I have been doing. And the VC has been my great support system. And all that I took away from here, from the in-depth knowledge exhibited by our speaker, is that we have to be passionate about something and make money out of it. You cannot just be roaming, and because Kofi is a nurse, you want to be a nurse. When I came around, I speak to the youth, most of them, I asked them, they say, I want to be a nurse. Almost everybody told me they wanted to be a nurse. And I believe that is because that is what is common here. But you have to be a pace setter. I was born and bred here in Ho. I went to Accra for the first time when I was going to University of Ghana. So I sat in my father's house and knew I wanted to be a judge. That story, I will tell you when they invite me as a guest speaker. But it is born out of my passion. That's how I made it. And then I got mentors. I am a woman, but most of my mentors are men. And I can tell you for a fact that none of them, not even one, has ever said, I want to kiss you or I want to sleep with you. That is because they take you at the value you present yourself. If you go and you think you are going to induce them to get them to like you, that is what you will get. But then if they see that you are focused and you are hardworking, till today, when some of them even, they've forgotten what they've done for me. And so when I introduce myself, they are proud. And that is the biggest thing you should take away from the story of our guest speaker. He got a mentor. He decided to venture because of the mentorship. These people have enormous knowledge. They are able to tell you the in thing that is coming, right? The areas that are going to boom in the next 2-3 years, they know. And so with that guidance, he's where he is. And then he added passion and hard work. Nothing comes easy, my girls and my boys. It is hard work. When you are using your phones, don't only go to TikTok and be looking at Hajia Bintu and Hajia Farrell. They too, they work. That life you see, they do a lot of work for it. So you will decide the kind of investment you want to do with your life. So anything you want to take away from here, sports medicine is the in thing. Do not be lazy. We all can be nurses. We all can be doctors. It is choked, but there is so much opportunity here. So focus. Your parents will support you. My parents allowed me to choose what I wanted to do because they saw I was focused. So you need to convince them to see that you're focused. And so that is the biggest thing I am taking away from here, and I am so excited. From everything he said, every answer he gave, passion, hard work, dedication, mentorship. Look for those you want to be like. Not that, oh, I want to be like you, then tomorrow my slippers is torn, give me 2 CDs. The next day I want to do my hair, give me 3 CDs. The next time you call me, I will block you. But if you call me, you say, oh, Mama, I want to be a judge like you. I would have become a career magistrate if not for the people I spoke to before I entered into law school. Career magistrate, they will train you, you only be a magistrate. They are not lawyers, so you remain a magistrate. But then when you are a lawyer before you become a magistrate, you rise through the ranks up to the Supreme Court. Georgina Wood was one of those products. She started as a magistrate. And so in every area that you want to venture in, find people who are excelling in those areas and let them guide you through. When you're focused, they will help you. Uhas is a school of first. Professor, if you don't know about her, she's a nurse. A nurse who has become a professor. And so this place is full of knowledge. It depends on what you want to come and take from here. You can sit through, you get nothing, but from here, your life will change. And so I want to thank the special speaker. He was amazing. He exhibited so much excellence and knowledge in the field. I want to thank the university for allowing these things to happen. This is what we want for our girls. Ola girls, they are here. That's my school. I went to Ola. And when I was in Ola, I wasn't a prefect, not in any way. I wasn't even a dorm monitress or a table head, but this is where I am today. It depends on your dedication, your hard work, and your resilience, right? If you choose the easy path, it has consequences. If you decide to be patient, work hard, and deal with the grace of God, it will take you further up there. So thank you so much. The alumni, please don't end it after the 3rd or 4th or 5th lecture. And please, I know my people, if you ask them to come, they won't come. Who is like that? But this is where the opportunities come. This is where you hear things that you will not ordinarily hear anywhere. But we are still working on it. I know that we'll get there someday, but I am so excited. I am happy I'm here, and I hope that you are also excited because you have picked, because after SS, that is where your life begins. And so these things are the things that enrich your life, so you know what to do with yourselves when you are out of secondary school. So we thank everybody. We thank the alumni, Mr. Agbanyo, right? Yes, thank you so much. And please, let's support this program so that they don't end it. We need it. And this School of Excellence will continue to inspire our youth and all of us so we can all succeed together and make Volta region and Ghana great. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you so much. Let's give it up for Mama once again. As Mama is a poga, I'm also a bobu. So, Mama, after here, you give us some bobu poga. You get it? Yeah. The Ola girls here, don't be angry, okay? You'll be out of school soon. So, thank you so much. Let's give it up to her one more time. So, all too soon, we are coming to the end of our program. We have the chapter president, alumni chapter president for Sunam here. Obed is here, doing great, massive works, getting these programs together. We have the School of Public Health chapter president here, Patrick. Very good. Thank you so much for representing. We appreciate your presence. Without wasting much time, I would want to call upon one of our alumni, who is a midwife and a lawyer, Madam Cedi. Why am I not getting this name? Cedi Auditorium. Let's give it up to her. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Good afternoon, everyone. Just a quick one. I'm not a lawyer yet. I'm a final year student at the Ghana School of Law. But yes, I was a midwife from Uhas. So, yeah, just that. the chairperson, Your Honor. Please, I have to do that. It's very necessary. Mama will be the third, Queen of Bake, Hobankwe, Asogli State. The Vice Chancellor, Professor Lydia Aziato, the Registrar, Madam Ya Mankwa Opuni, distinguished faculty, the alumni president, Mr. Gabriel Agbanyu, fellow alumni present here and all over the world, students, a special shout out to Ola, because that's my school as well, so hi. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon once again. It's exciting and in fact very nostalgic to stand before you to give the vote of thanks because a few years ago I was also just a student sitting here, didn't know what the future held, but here we are today, so it's very exciting for me. First and foremost, I'd like to thank Dr. Eric Tete, our keynote speaker, for your insightful and inspiring talk, the practical wisdom, real-life experiences, and valuable guidance that you've shared, I'm sure has not only motivated our students, but has also offered them a clearer vision of the paths that they can pursue. We are proud to see how far you've become. Dr. Eric was my immediate senior in school, and he was always on the go. Eric always had somewhere to go. But I mean, it's very inspiring to see how far you've come, and thank you so much for that very beautiful lecture. Secondly, I would like to thank Madam Chairperson for your presence. I was very excited because just like her, I also went to Ola. I was at the University of Ghana, Faculty of Law, and now at the Ghana School of Law. It's almost like you are twins. So I was very excited to see Madam Chairperson. We thank you so much for your presence. We are honored to have you here. Thank you, Madam. Furthermore, I'd like to thank Madam Vice Chancellor, Professor Lydia Aziato. We have seen your support over the years. We have seen what you've done for the Alumni Association, and we are so grateful. We couldn't thank you enough. Thank you, Madam. And also to the faculty. I see some of my lecturers here, and I'm so thankful for the knowledge that you've given us. Thank you so much. Furthermore, I'd like to thank Mr. Gabriel Agbanyu especially. He's the alumni president, and Gabriel is so dedicated. He's done so much for the Alumni Association. So, Mr. Gabriel, thank you so much for what you've done for us. Finally, I want to say a big thank you to the students present, all the participants here. I'm sure you've taken so much from what our keynote speaker has said, and I'm sure you've been more than inspired. We can't wait to have you in Uhas. We can't wait for you to also be alumni. We can't wait to see you stand here one day and also talk to us, impart knowledge to us. So thank you all for coming. Thank you for your patience, and we hope to see you sometime soon. And finally, I'd like to say a big thank you to God for bringing this program to a successful end. Thank you, and have a wonderful rest of the day.
Thank you, Madam Cindy. So we will be taking our Uhas answer, but before then, I will just give a minute to Dr. Joy, HOD for SEM, to give us, in a minute, just give us the requirements for those of you who would want to pursue any program at SEM, just in a minute. You know what you should be expecting, or what preparations you should do before getting the admissions or whatever is added. Thank you.
Thank you so much, the MC, the Vice Chancellor. Please permit me to stand on the existing protocol. This statement goes directly to the students. I'm so happy that you're all here. And having listened to our guest speaker who spoke eloquently, and then he just spoke my mind. And I was so happy the way he explained it better. in a way that I believe you've understood. And then, you don't need to go far. Just like our Queen Mother has said, there are so many opportunities out there, but except when you open up your eyes, everything might not be nursing, and everything may not be medical doctor. But there is a small door that opens there. But if you look through, you go beyond what you expect. So in order for you not to be thinking, how do we come into SEM, which is the School of Sports and Exercise Medicine? If for your WASSE results, all you need, apart from your English, your mathematics, and your integrated science, you just need chemistry, physics, biology. And then for your aggregate, don't go beyond 15. So if you go online and apply, we'll accept you. Thank you and God bless you.
So if you go online and apply, we'll accept you. So we want to take the Uhas anthem. Let's all humbly be standing whilst we take the Uhas anthem. Thank you. Whilst we keep up standing, let's be standing. We invite Mr. Adams Fatal to give us our closing prayer if he's here. Quickly, let's do that.
Madam Chair, Vice Chancellor, Registrar, please, let's pray. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. We want to give great praise and adoration to Allah Almighty, the most gracious, the merciful. We pray that all that we've learned today will be put into good use. All that we've learned today would continue to make Uhas truly a great giant. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina as-siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta alayhim ghayril maghdubi alayhim waladdallin. Amen. Thank you.
Shall we be seated? All guests who were invited, faculties, please, we kindly move to the council chamber. All schools, please, let's all remain seated. We'll be giving snacks and be taking our pictures as well. So the photographers, if you are ready, we'll take our pictures quickly. Thank you all for coming. See you next year.
Yes.